So,
I'd much prefer a hot curl. If I had to choose, I would take the hot curl.
Well, while we're at it, I'll just look up glass bottom boat. A glass bottom boat. Oh, wait. An activity performed by the community. Yeah, you just look it up yourself.
Yeah. It's right under blue waffle.
We're Generation X, laughing at the world today. We're getting older, but we're still gonna play all day. Radio Labyrinth, our minds are a maze, navigating through the chaos of these modern days. Lost in the radio labyrinth.
welcome to Radio Labyrinth.
Well, 4 weeks ago now, or was it 3 weeks ago? I don't know. Episode 24, season 9, episode 24 of Radio Labyrinth featured Mull Grant, who is the owner of Sublime Doughnuts, who was recently on Gordon Ramsay's Food Stars. We had him on, and we talked about his, what are those called? The Magic Middles? Is that what they're called? That he was pitching. And Gordon Ramsay and the Vanderpump lady, they're jerks. But we liked Mull, and we all pitched our own donut and created AI versions of those. And last week at Sublime Donut, they put out Jeff's donut, which was called the R.I.P. Elvis donut. It was a yeast donut stuffed with bacon and peanut butter, with peanut butter icing, bacon, and bananas on it. And I wish I could have had one. And then this week, I found out that he'd made mine, and they weighed like 6 of them weighed 50 pounds. The topping of the donut was chocolate frosting, powdered sugar, and buttery popcorn. And so he made that one, and I went down and I got 6 of them. And I want to thank the staff that was working that day. I wanted to see him because I do want to get him to come on my radio show, the Popcast, but he wasn't available that day. But I picked up 6 of them, and I swear to God, my arm almost fell asleep carrying them to my car. That's how heavy. It was the best donut I think I've ever had.
Wow.
And
wow.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, I've had a lot of donuts.
I know you have. That's high praise.
I can't thank them enough for making these donuts. You know what I mean? And Jeff, why couldn't you get one? I thought they had them today.
Nope, sold out.
Sold out?
Yep.
I ate 2 of them, because I gave them to people at the station. Also, English Nick, who's my coworker. He's also on the Von Hessler Doctrine, but he has a daily shift on the river. He ate one, and I have a video of his reaction of biting into it. He's like, man, I would love to have another one of those donuts, but I made the mistake of eating 2, and my body just said, all right, you're done. Good luck.
How was the popcorn on top? Was it how you dreamed it would be?
It was absolutely everything I thought it would be. When you get to the popcorn, the flavor just it's there a little bit at first, but then that butter and the salt just sort of, it's on top of the chocolate and the powdered sugar. It's great. It's absolutely a fantastic thing. And I do believe next week Steph's Donut's coming out, and I
can't wait. I'm definitely, I'm going to take the day off from work. I'm going to call out. I don't care.
Tell me when yours are available so I can rush down there before they sell out.
I will. I'm serious. I don't care what I'm doing. If I'm in the middle of like talking to a patient, I'll be like, I got to go. I'm just going to clock out and leave.
Thank you again to Mull Grant and to Sublime Doughnuts. And no, we aren't getting paid.
This is very embarrassing. Part of me rather get locked up than get put in this little Fisher-Price-looking squad car. Y'all are the Lego cops.
Did everybody watch the brand new 4th installment of Beverly Hills Cop called Axel F, which is currently on Netflix? It just debuted yesterday or 2 days ago. And I split it up over 2 days because I didn't start watching it until 11 o'clock last night after the fireworks in Tucker, Georgia. Did everyone watch it?
Yep.
Yes. Steph?
Some of it.
What?
Some of it I watched.
Some of it. Oh, here we go. She hates it. It opens up with Detroit. They're at a Red Wings game. Axel Foley doing the Axel Foley thing. Then you have the snowplow, which is reminiscent of the truck in the first movie. Let's hear everyone's thoughts.
Yeah, I loved it. 100% fan service, but in the best way possible.
Yes.
Yeah. Of all the 80s movies they've tried to reboot or remake, this one feels the most like a solid sequel to the original.
Taggart's the only person that got old.
Yeah. And he was old to begin with.
Yeah, but Rosewood looked a little old.
Rosewood looked a little rosy in the cheeks.
It is crazy that Eddie is in his 60s. That doesn't make sense.
I know. He looked
great.
Music was awesome throughout the whole thing. They really did a good job of reinventing Axel F.
Steph, I get the feeling you didn't like it very much.
I did not.
Okay. We can tell us why if you like.
To me, it didn't have the magic at all, and I didn't feel like it was a good... they were redoing everything, and I didn't think they redid it well.
Jane, hey, this is your father. I'm in town. I've been arrested. Hello?
I don't know what I wanted, but it wasn't the whole dad wasn't in my life storyline, blah, 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 blah.
That's how you bridge from the old days to the nowadays.
I guess. I just felt like, God damn it, that's been done so fucking many times.
Yes, it has.
For all the plot points they could have used and didn't, but used this generic one, they didn't overdo it. I mean, you had to watch to the end, but it is not forced down your throat.
Okay, but the daughter I despised. If they would have gotten like Quinta Brunson from, she's hilarious. They needed a funny daughter, I thought. It didn't just need to be some deadpan for him. I felt like he needed a comedic foil.
She's funny. She does the Axel F stuff with the people and like in the house when they're trying to go to the open house.
She's a better con man than her dad now because she's now and he's
tired of it because he does that thing when he goes into the Beverly Palm Hotel, which is not real. He goes in there and he tries to scam to get a room. He's like, you know what? I'm tired. I just want to get a room. How much? $900. I love Beverly Hills. Well, let's talk a little bit more, and we'll delve back into it. But so you have Eddie Murphy returning as Axel Foley, and you have some new people. Joseph Gordon-Levitt playing Detective Bobby Abbott, who you don't really know a lot about at first. You don't really get a general feel for him. And this is all if you don't watch anything prior to the film, like trailers or spoilers or anything like that. And you find out things about his character and Eddie Murphy's daughter's character. But one of my favorite lines early on in the film that Bobby Abbott, Detective Abbott, he's going through Axel Foley's jacket, how many times he's been arrested, and he kind of references the first two films, and then he references and makes fun of Beverly Hills Cop 3, which was kind of cool. You have Taylor Page playing Jane Saunders, who is Axel's daughter that Steph hates, and I kind of get what Steph's saying. She was really deadpan, although I knew, like, you can feel it when you're watching it. Oh, this is going to be one of those redemption arcs for daddy-daughter stuff. And you are right. It has been done a million times. But I like Eddie Murphy so much. And I had all those tingly feels, the member berries that I was nibbling on the entire movie, that it just superseded all of that.
Yeah, my thoughts exactly.
Yeah.
You had Judge Reinhold returning as Billy Rosewood. And there's a lot of great interviews with Reinhold out there right now. Probably the best, I think, is Rich Eisen. I slowly have become a Rich Eisen fan. I think he does really good interviews outside of sports, and he talks to these cool people.
I would have liked it better like if it was Rosewood's son that needed to be rescued or something like that, and he asked Foley to come out and help him.
Hey, Axel, can you come out?
I would have preferred that. Well, unless they made Rosewood's son Glenn Powell, and then I would have hated it just as much.
Rosewood was the original incel. So he was a collector. This one's a collector. But there's a scene toward the end of the film, very toward the end of the film, and in fact, almost the very end of the film, that's reminiscent of them sitting outside of the hotel from Beverly Hills Cop, where they're talking. It says in Scientific American that...
It says here that by the time the average American is 50, he's got 5 pounds of undigested red meat in his bowels.
Why are you telling me this?
Well, you eat a lot of red meat.
Billy, would you shut up? I seriously thought that actor had passed away. John Ashton is who we're talking about, Captain John Taggart.
And he fell into the shoe polish.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
He sure did. He is old, that guy. And I don't believe that a lot of these people I don't believe would still be working. Certainly not him. I don't know how he became the captain.
Yeah, Reinhold, he only has scenes at the beginning of the movie and at the end of the movie. So he wasn't in the middle.
Yeah, Reinhold was like a glorified cameo, basically.
Yeah.
Paul Reiser returns as Jeffrey Friedman. And I think he does a serviceable job. And that's also a glorified cameo. Deputy Chief Jeffrey Friedman, played by Paul Reiser, is so smarmy in that original movie, Beverly Hills Cop, but I thought he did okay. My favorite part about the whole thing at the beginning was they had a photo of Inspector Todd on the wall.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, in his office.
Don't fuck with me, Axel. Not now. Go home.
Now we know the truth about him.
Who? Inspector Todd? Or
yeah, the real life one. He was dirty. He was as dirty as they come. He was one of the dirtiest cops in Detroit ever. Yeah.
He wasn't an actor. Yeah.
He was consulting the film, and the director liked him so much to be in the movie. Okay, I'll take some money. Yeah, I did.
That I don't have to kill for.
Yeah, degenerate. Bronson Pinchot returning as Surge. I thought that was a fun little jaunt.
Yeah, it was a tasteful Surge. It wasn't a cameo. I thought it would be over the top, but it wasn't.
Yeah, but he still can't say Ahmed, Poli, and he couldn't say the names. I thought it was funny. Who was the chick from Saturday Night Live that played the realtor?
Nassim Pedrad.
Yeah, Nassim Pedrad is in that scene, and she's fantastic playing like just this loser. Yeah, I don't really have a boyfriend.
Oh, God, she loves this place. I love this place. And they say, we don't like it. Yeah, I don't like this place either.
Kevin Bacon as Cade Grant. Typical smarmy. That role could have been in this movie. Obviously, it could have been in the 80s. That smarmy, I'm a douchebag, rich police guy. I'm corrupt.
Yeah, he's played that character quite a few times.
Yeah.
Yes, and he's very good at it. There are other people in the movie that I want to bring up. Luis Guzman has a very small role, but he's funny as shit as that weirdo.
Yeah, the drug dealer.
Yeah, the weirdo drug dealer. I do think that the story flowed really well. There were some weird scenes and weird cuts. How do you say this? Affion Crockett? Is it Affion or Affion?
Valet guy?
The valet guy was fantastic.
Yeah, he's funny.
And there were a lot of callbacks to the original, and I'm trying to find it. Anyway, he's not even credited, so it must not be. But you brought it up, Jeff. Shooter McGavin was on a golf course toward the climax of the film as the action is taking place or setting up for the climax of the film. They land a helicopter on a golf course, and they interrupt this guy who's in the middle of a game, and it's Shooter McGavin. And so I think that Happy Gilmore and Beverly Hills Cop exist in the same universe, and it's been proven. And I also think that Netflix had something to do with that because they are going to do a sequel, right, on Netflix.
Yeah, they exist in the same universe, the Netflix universe.
Yep.
That's right. That's right, which I like better than the Marvel or Star Wars universe now because it has things that I enjoy in it. Trust Me and the freeze frame, that comes into play. I love Beverly Hills Cop. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I used to watch it every day once it came out on video cassette. I got it for Christmas and immediately watched it. You know, I had toys and shit scattered around, like toys a 14-year-old would get, but I'm like, I'm going to watch this movie.
I know. I used to walk around all the time talking about how I had herpes simplex 10.
Yeah.
May I help you?
Yes. Tell him that Ramon went to the clinic today, and I found out that I have herpes simplex 10. And I think Victor should go check himself out with his physician to make sure everything is fine before things start falling off on the man.
It would have been nice if Jenny had been in it. I don't know that Jenny was in any of the sequels, though. That actress. And that actress is retired. I looked her up. And I looked her up recently because she was in that Amazing Spider-Man TV show, the pilot. And I say, well, Beverly Hills Cop 5 is a probability. I think it's done very well. I think Murphy's ready to do it if they get a script. Obviously, he's ready to do it. He looked like he was having the time of his life. And let's see. I've heard this before, but Reinhold says that he had to audition for Sylvester Stallone when the movie was in pre-production to play Billy, because Stallone was the original star of Beverly Hills Cop, and it wasn't going to be a comedy. Could you imagine how terrible it would have been if it would have been Cobra?
It was Cobra, yeah.
It was Cobra, yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
what
Cobra's wonderful in its own right.
it is in its own right. I don't disagree with that at all. Cobra is what it is.
I just rewatched it last night or night before last.
Really?
Wow. Wow.
That bad. It's terrible, but it's great. It's great terrible.
I didn't realize how much stuff has been taken from it and reused in different things now. It's crazy.
It's hard to replicate, though, because you see people purposely try to create that so bad it's good. And you can't. I mean, this was a lightning in the bottle bad is good.
Yes. And one thing that's carried through every single Beverly Hills Cop movie is they're sort of poking fun at Stallone because there's a reference to him in every movie. In fact, his girlfriend was in Beverly Hills Cop 2, Brigitte Nielsen. So, but there's Cobra, there's Rambo, the Rambo knife, Billy being a survivalist and a gun nut and a weapon nut. But there's a lot of callbacks. You really got to pay attention. So yeah, I'm hoping for another movie. And I do think as the movie progresses, you'll see more of his daughter. Unfortunately for Steph, you'll see Joseph Gordon-Levitt and more of his daughter. Maybe they'll recast her. So what's this story about Eddie Murphy calling David Spade racist because of an SNL joke?
It was one of those old David Spade. You know how he did those little minutes?
The Hollywood Minute.
Hollywood Minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, children, it's a falling star. Make a wish. Yes, that's right. You make a Hollywood Minute omelet, you break some eggs.
And he hasn't gotten over that?
Yeah, and I don't even know that the joke, I mean, was basically about his career being over. And I don't know how Eddie got racist out of that.
Well, he said every member of Saturday Night Live that went on and made a movie that was white, they were all given a pass. But his, for some reason, when his movie tanked, they let him go after him. And that's what he was upset about.
He has a point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at that point,
not so much racist as just, you're supposed to be an SNL family. Keep it in the family. Don't make fun of yourself. Yeah.
That's fair enough. But also at that point in Eddie's career, he was so beyond SNL. It wasn't like he just made a Night at the Roxbury or some crap and didn't do anything else. He was a humongous star. Yeah. So he was I felt like he was in another level. He's probably the biggest star that was ever on that show, besides maybe Will Ferrell or
Bill Murray, maybe.
That's why I still wish David Spade did the Hollywood Minute. I still wish he did it every day.
He apologized for it a few times.
That's why Eddie never returned, at least for the longest time until that, what, was it the 50th?
40th.
So it was the 40th.
Yeah.
Or one of those. Well, I think Eddie and Bill Murray are probably the biggest stars to come out of SNL. Aykroyd, probably up there. Chevy Chase, but, people don't really like him, and he's made a lot of duds.
Will Ferrell, Adam Sandler.
Yeah. Adam Sandler for sure. I think Will Ferrell was that, but now he's not. Eddie and Sandler are the two people from Saturday Night Live who are most influenced by Jerry Lewis and the way to make a film like Jerry Lewis. I would say even more so Sandler, because Jerry Lewis made all of his movies himself and Sandler makes all of his movies himself. And if Jerry Lewis didn't know how to do something, he learned how to do it. He created all of the thing that I never knew about him until the documentary was that he did all the set designs. He did all the gags and stuff, and just how essential Jerry Lewis was in making those movies that made him a star. And I'm not talking about the ones he did with Dean Martin. I'm talking about after he left Dean Martin. And I think Sandler is just the natural successor to that. But anyway, I want more Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, great movie.
I thought it was just as good, if not better, than the Coming to America sequel, which I also liked a lot. Yeah. And it goes to my love. I love Eddie Murphy. I always have. Even his duds I've watched and dug them just because it was Eddie.
It's just me and you guys. I'm sorry. I hated the Coming to America sequel too.
You like Dolomite though?
Dolomite I loved. That was an original movie.
Great. Yeah, he should have gotten.
I loved that. He was fantastic in that, and I loved those Dolomite movies. Like when I was in my early 20s and watching them at parties when everybody's getting high and shit and dying laughing.
If I ever met Eddie Murphy, I'd fall on my knees like that guy in Coming to America and start bowing to him like he was actually Prince.
Greetings, Your Highness.
Please stop bowing, please.
I am a loyal citizen of Zamunda.
You know what I'm talking about? That
Of course. Oh my God. I would say, want the knife.
I said, I want the knife.
I would just give him a huge thank you. Thank you for everything that you did in the 80s to make me laugh as a kid and for continuing to make everybody laugh. And also, I love that I used to get to see your brother a couple times a year, and he just smelled like the best weed ever. Fame or infamy, Gen Z loves her. That's why you see her everywhere. Hawk Tuah girl Haley Welch has filed a trademark and is eyeing a comedy career. Do you think you can just go from being viral to having a comedy career? Well, it all depends on the right podcast. Last week, we talked about the fact that she needs to be on Rogan. I don't know that that will happen, but it should. Or at the very least, she went on a podcast with I think it's a Gen Z targeted podcast. I don't know the name of it, but she did a really good job on that interview. Zach Bryan brought her on stage to help sing the song Revival. Some guy offered her $600 to spit a loogie in a jar. I mean, how could you, if somebody offered me $600 to spit in a jar, I would do it if they paid for shipping.
I would fill it up for $600. I wouldn't give them one. I'd just give them the whole thing.
Well, if you want some of that piss of mine, you're going to have to pay a little bit more. My piss is worth at least $1,200, and I'll fill that jar up with it. I will fill that jar up with it just like I did in 1985 when I peed in a Pepsi bottle and left it in my closet for 2 years.
Ew.
Yes.
Why?
I don't know. I was weird. What do you want? I wanted to see what would happen.
I had a cousin who used to fart in a jar.
Well, does it last?
Yeah.
Like if he buried it in his backyard and went and opened it today, would he taste his pizza farts from 1992?
I don't know. He had several different mason jars with farts in them.
So your cousin, basically, it's the Legend of Willie Swamp, except unlike money, he just farted and buried his mason jars around.
He was a funny kid, and that was just like one of the many quirks that he had. He was much younger than me. He was like and he had a rat tail that came to his butt. It was probably the longest rat tail I've ever seen in my life. But he was a funny kid, and I'm not sure why he did it, but we all supported him.
If Haley Welch does not catch on, OnlyFans is the next step, because you can't just do a viral video and become a comedian, but maybe you can. I don't know.
Yeah, she's attractive. If she wasn't attractive, this never even would have went anywhere.
Yeah.
Right, but her attractiveness doesn't matter unless she's funny. I want to see her do stand up before I judge.
She did sign management company as Penthouse. So,
yeah, but what is Penthouse now?
They definitely don't make what they used to. They're just a management company at this point.
No, nobody does. Well, it's because you don't have Bob Guccione around anymore.
Hey, long time no see.
Hey, Jeff. How's it going, dummy? My name is Red Boxx, and I am the Red Boxx Troll. Now, you might think that Tim's doing an ethnic voice that will get him in trouble in 2024, but he is not. What he's doing is an approximation of the late, great comedian and actor Red Fox.
I feel so uncomfortable, but I'm going to ask, where are you going to live now that they're shutting down all the red boxes? They're filing for bankruptcy.
Sanford Arms.
Rollo was the fireman, the guy who set fire. All right, this is killing my voice.
It's a bad idea. It's just a bad idea.
To do Red Fox, he's been dead for 15 or for 30 years.
Do it as Sam Elliott or something.
I don't know that I could do that. By the way, for people who've never seen this character, the Red Boxx Troll has had many iterations over the years on Radio Labyrinth. And, it used to be a stuffed animal type of deal. Before that, it was just Tim. And now it's just a guy that resides in Tim's closet covered with dirty underwear and shirts. And, Coors. I found a
half a can of Coors on the side of the road the other day, and I drank it. It was flat, and it had ants in it, but I drank it because it's Coors.
Did you know that the red boxes were owned by the Chicken Soup for the Soul people?
I did not. I had no clue. Isn't that a book?
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I didn't even know there were chicken soup for the soul people.
I like chicken soup. I also like eating rats. And I like eating rat soup because that's what I'll be eating a lot of. I'll be eating a lot of rat soup. What you do is you find a rat, dead or alive, hopefully fresh, throw it in a tin can, either pee in it or find some water, and whatever vegetables you can scrounge up, let it boil. Then you got yourself rat soup for your soul. Also works with pigeons, crickets, worms, them big roaches, snake meat. But I don't know what I'm going to do, and I'm really tired. You guys got anything going on?
Oh, no. I was just thinking maybe you could go over and live in, like, the Culligan water replenishment thing that they have out front.
The Culligan man me.
They have those red box dumpsters you could move into.
I've been thinking about that, but they're not as easy to shrink down and get into as a red box. Plus, there's no DVDs to use as ninja stars as needed. But anyway, if you're a new viewer of this show, I used to be on it. I had a different name every now and then. My last name was Red Box. That's why Tim did that voice. Lovable junk man, Fred Sanford.
They used to get anally penetrated by pencils.
No, I did not. I had a nub, and if I wanted to get off, I would rub the nub with a pencil eraser. I never did anything anal without getting paid. And it looks like those days are back, Steph.
Maybe we can find something for you to do on the show.
Yeah, you've been trying to do that for 5 years. Good luck. Now, Jeff spent $1,000 on this puppet.
Can't throw $1,000 in the dumpster, so.
Oh, no, I'm a very well-crafted puppet by Mark Schrankel from Who Buddies. Now Tim's shoulder's getting tired, so goodbye.
Well, goodbye. The end of an era.
Or...
It's the beginning, you sons of bitches.
Oh, God.
Suck it, Steph.
No.
I'm coming to your house and sleeping in one of your dog crates. Yeah, leave some kibble on the porch. Just make sure your drapes are closed at night.
Why? You're going to be looking at Pickle?
Maybe.
He's an equal opportunity peeper.
See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye, Red Box.
See you later, dummies.
News, trailers, and trends with Steph.
It is crazy, though, so I guess all the red boxes are just going to be disappearing.
Yeah.
Well, they already have. They took the one out of the Kroger that we have down the street this week.
I can't remember the last time I got a movie out of the red box.
No.
Yeah, I would see the red box in Publix, but nobody was ever using it.
I mean, in its heyday, though, you recall, people would be lined up on a weekend or something like that. Moving along, this is completely geared towards people like Tim. There's an article in Collider where they're blaming the actual Star Wars fans for all the hatred that the new universes have been getting, the new movies and shows and whatnot.
Stuff, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true, though.
But they're saying it's people like Tim who are ruining it for everyone that does love it because they're so mean about it.
I don't go and trash it publicly. I don't go and fight with people on forums. We've never done a takedown video. But the thing that made me laugh is Collider put this out, this woke lady, whatever, who wrote the article, blames it on the fans. Well, it could also be the writing and the acting and the story. But my belief is that all the negative press about Star Wars is used to market Star Wars just as much as the positive press about Star Wars. Because what are you talking about? If you're trashing Star Wars for an hour, you're still marketing the show. And they're still talking about the show. But my favorite part about this Collider article is when they put the tweet out, they got ratioed immediately and they had to close down comments because everybody was agreeing that it didn't need to be read. You can't blame the fans. People who just passively go, oh, this isn't for me, which is me. Why be mad at them if they don't like it?
Yeah, I feel like that's what I was getting from you guys about this Beverly Hills Cop business.
Yeah, you're fucking wrong. It's toxic fans like you who ruin everything for Eddie Murphy.
See, Jeff was glaring at me like he was going to come over here and just whip my ass in the front yard or something over it.
Yeah, he was going to do a Clockwork Orange, pry your eyes open and make you watch it.
In-flight raw dogging. Are you guys familiar with this?
I'm familiar with raw dogging,
but not in flight.
No, what is this shit? I see these stories and I try not to read them so I can have a natural reaction to them. So what is it?
There's this new it's like a TikTok trend. Mostly dudes that are doing this. When they get on the plane now, they're not engaging with the in-flight entertainment or their laptops or playing on their phone or whatever. They're just zoning out, meditating for the entire flight.
People used to do that, but they had a magazine or a book.
Yeah, they're not even doing that. Nothing. They're just going to meditate. And some of them take it so far as to where they won't go to the bathroom or have the drink or the peanuts. Nothing. They just, are totally zenning for the entire plane ride. And it's becoming like a competitive thing. Like how many levels can you raw dog?
See, I thought that they brought their fleshlight and didn't use lube.
It reminds me in the 90s of those kids that wouldn't do, what were they called? They'd wear the X's on their hands. Straight edge
kids.
Yeah, it's like, it reminds me of like that kind of exercise where they don't want to take any comfort in anything. But the part that blows my mind about this today is the fact that they're calling it raw dogging.
Yes.
And that they've used a term that was a sexual term for something that's mundane in society now.
I gave my mom a pearl necklace once.
Oh, God.
Well, I did. I bought it at Macy's.
Now, did you raw dogged the whole time to get there?
I raw dogged on a flight to the New York Macy's. And when I got there, I got the necklace. I brought it home and gave my mom a pearl necklace. And then she gave me a glass bottom boat. 1 year for Christmas, I got my aunt a Cleveland steamer.
Did you throw orange slices on her?
Uh-huh.
Is a Cleveland steamer, is that just another word for a hot Carl? Isn't that the same thing?
No.
What is it?
It's not?
No, the steamer I thought was just gas. The hot Carl's a solid.
Oh, okay. I got you. All right.
No. Here's a Cleveland steamer before we go off the rails. A sex act involving defecating on someone's chest, then sitting in it and rolling back and forth like a steamroller.
Okay, maybe it is. Go ahead and look up the hot Carl there as well.
Hot Carl, all right. The act of defecating on the face of a sexual partner, usually covered in plastic wrap, so at least it's safe.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it is the face, but you do have plastic wrap. So.
I'd much prefer a hot Carl. If I had to choose, I would take the hot Carl.
Well, while we're at it, I'll just look up glass bottom boat. A glass bottom boat, an activity performed by the coprophilia community. Yeah, you just look it up yourself.
Yeah. It's right under blue waffle.
We're sorry that we made you sick during the news segment.
I don't know if you guys saw this about Steve-O. He's getting breast implants.
He's getting breast implants. Okay. Why?
Yeah, he's going to be a double D.
Why?
Because he feels like this is going to add to his comedy.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Dude, you don't have to do that. You're not funny.
Yeah, he's getting these double Ds before he goes on his next tour. And I don't know if he's going to be topless. I'm thinking that he would be. That's kind of the whole point. I guess maybe he'll let people jiggle him or slap him around or whatever they like to do. I don't know how long he's going to keep him or if he's going to, what the hell.
He'll auction the silicone off when he has them taken out.
Would you grab him? Like if he came on the show, would you juggle him around?
No, it would creep me out. Look, the first time I ever saw a male who had breast implants was Richard Speck, the serial killer who was in jail. Remember Richard Speck?
When did he get breast implants?
He got them while he was in jail. I think the prison paid for it. Oh, and so anyway, it's disgusting. Disgusting.
There was that poker player, too, that won a bet for putting in implants.
Who?
I can't remember his name, but they bet him like $100,000 that he wouldn't put breast implants in and keep them for a year.
How much did it cost him to get them put in? Obviously more than $100,000.
I don't think so.
No? No, come down to my place. I'll put some silicone in you.
It was a van down in the parking lot, so they did it for $20.
Yeah, a friend of Carl's from Aquatine did it in a warehouse. Last but not least, Martin Mull, funny man, and I love how people, Fernwood Tonight, like he didn't do anything other than that, died at 80 years old. But Fernwood Tonight is a funny show, and it's still funny. Mary Hartman, Roseanne, tons and tons of TV. The first movie I ever saw him in was My Bodyguard, but he's been in a ton of movies as well. Clue, the movie. Tons and tons of stuff. And a very, very, very talented and funny man. So rest in peace, Mr. Martin Mull. Into the Podverse for a brief moment before we sail into other things. My weekly can't miss shows now are Harland Highway and We're Having a Good Time. Harland Highway, even if he has a guest I don't know, I'll watch just because Harland's funny as shit. We're Having a Good Time is Dusty Slay, and he does it with his wife Hannah. But that is just a nice podcast. They're nice people. She was a comedian, but they just talk about random things. And I think he's funny, and I still like him. But those are the two that I just, okay, I'm not going to miss these. And then the ones that I go back and forth on. But I kind of got tired of, not all of us watch Dudesy, right? Mm-hmm. Out of the four of us, who watches Dudesy regularly? Me and Dustin?
Just me, yeah.
But when Will went to Italy for, I felt like a month, I kind of fell off, and then I tuned back in. They're not doing the stuff they were doing before the Carlin thing. The Carlin thing really affected them, and they're not doing a lot of that celebrity stuff anymore, and it's sort of getting repetitive, even though I think they're both great and both talented, and it's funny, but I think I'm kind of done with it. And now they have way more commercials than they used to have. I just want it to be Jesse Ventura the whole time. Let's see. The best part of Jimmy Kimmel on Two Bears, One Cave was all the wonderful hate comments. And I was going to read a bunch of them, but unless you want me to. Every comment was negative.
Yeah.
Raking them over the coals the whole time.
Nah, they're just doing their thing. And because Jimmy, they're Rogan. I don't know about, definitely Bert comes out of the Rogan pushing them into the podcast world. Do this. You guys ought to do a podcast. Why not? And Jimmy Kimmel spent a good year shitting on everything that Rogan did. And, he said he hopes he dies at one point, in a manner of speaking.
Jesus.
And so, because Jimmy Kimmel, like Carell, was paid by certain companies to talk about a certain thing. And if you talked against that certain thing, then they made fun of you, and they did little skits. And then Jimmy Kimmel's monologue every night was telling you why people who didn't like the certain thing were pieces of shit. And that's fine. I don't care. You're allowed to have your opinion, but, you wishing the death on, fellow comedians or people who are actually funny. Anyway, the comments are great if you want to go read them. The top comment is, I'm just here for all the hate comments. But the one big podcast of the week, before we get to talking about that, Rogan, who, again, I have to pick a bone with him, is he had a comedian on named Tyler Fisher. And I'm not familiar with Tyler Fisher.
He used to be a guest host on HQ Trivia.
Oh, he did? Well, then Jeff knows him quite well. Is he funny? Is he a good stand-up comedian?
He's all right. He does some impressions, too.
Yeah, he's an impressionist. So Rogan has this guy on, and had it been anybody else, a bigger comedian or one of his friends, maybe Ari Shaffir had been on the show doing an RFK impression, he wouldn't have shut it down. But he's talking about it, because Joe gets on these jags, and when he has somebody on that's not super famous or anything, he talks all over them. And so Tyler Fisher goes, as you're doing this, I'm going to read it in an RFK impression. And Joe immediately goes, don't do that. Like, scolded him. Like, Joe, shut the fuck up. RFK is still going to come and do your show. And I think that out of any presidential candidate, RFK would probably be all right with the impression. Now, when we had him on the show, I didn't do it, obviously, because we only had 15 minutes with him. But
you were doing the impression the whole time.
No, I wasn't. But he seems like a guy with a sense of humor who understands that people are going to parody him and talk about him. And, there are people that shit on him constantly and say he's nuts and crazy and he had a brain worm and all this stuff. But if you're going to do his voice and you're actually going to try to be funny with it, I don't think there's any problem with it. So Rogan shut this guy down.
His brain worm would run for president.
The brain worm? I think the brain...
Wow. Brain worm, 2024.
If my brainworm were a billionaire like my current running mate, the brainworm would be my running mate.
And by the way, we did a good job. We did a very funny job with sort of the preview of the presidential debate that took place last week. But there's no way anybody could have expected it to be as nuts as it was. And that's all I'm going to say about it, because it was nuts. And then I don't know what the deal is now. I try not to think about it too much, but I do think about Joe Rogan having not only Terrence Howard back, but his good buddy, Rogan's good buddy, Eric Weinstein, who is a scientist, a mathematician, and all this stuff. And then they talked for 4 hours about Terrence Howard's crazy theories that are, absolutely incorrect. And I gave it about 45 minutes, but there was just too much math. I don't understand any of this shit. I barely remember addition and subtraction. So you start bringing in square roots and prime numbers, I'm out. But I think Rogan did a good job throughout the entire thing. Dustin, you did watch it all, didn't you?
I didn't watch all of it. I watched a couple of hours of it, but like you said, it just got too deep. But what Eric Weinstein was doing, he feels like he wants to help the world understand Terrence Howard. Like he sees that in a community of people that think at a different level, they very often don't have the ability to communicate down to people that don't understand what they're talking about. And he wanted to be that bridge.
Yeah.
And it didn't turn out that way, really.
It did not turn out that way, but it did. Weinstein was being very gracious with him, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, very courteous.
But it just did not happen. I thought this could be, building the bridge. This could be explaining and educating and massaging the things that are said, but it didn't happen. And like I said, lots of math. I had to opt out.
I think people wanted Neil deGrasse Tyson to come on and refute some of the stuff too, but
he won't.
Yeah,
he already did.
Yeah,
he did his video.
He did it, but he's not on Rogan.
No.
He could have had me on there and refuted it to my face, but he didn't do it.
Radio Labyrinth is brought to you by Atlanta Pizza in Euro. Here's the thing about Atlanta Pizza in Euro. It's not in Atlanta, but they call it Atlanta Pizza in Euro. It's in Conyers. Why don't they call it CPG? I don't know. It tastes really good. I don't care. Meanwhile, over in Conyers, they have proudly been serving the East Metro Atlanta area for over 40 years. That's a lot of pizza. And gyros. By the way, is it gyro or gyro? Atlanta Pizza in Gyro is the place to be all summer long. They have over 16 ice-cold craft beers and ciders. What's wrong with just drinking cider out of a plastic jug in October like you're supposed to? No, you can drink it all the time, especially at Atlanta Pizza in Euro. Many others are also available in bottles and cans. Look, they have the best gyros, pizzas, hot subs, and Greek and Italian specialties around. Okay? Stop by Monday through Friday from 11 to 9 p.m. and Saturday from 12 to 9 p.m. They're closed on Sundays. Why don't they close on Saturday? On Tuesday nights, they have team trivia from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Bring your smartest friends and test your trivia knowledge, okay, against the best Conyers has to offer, like Dustin. They also have a food truck. Contact Mike at 770-483-6228 for more details or to schedule an event. He also says, thank you for listening to the best podcast around and for all your business and continued support.
Hey, do you have a commercial or residential construction printing need? Well, what are you waiting for? Contact LDI Repro Printing of Athens. They've been in Athens since 2005 with fast turnaround and affordable prices. Call 706-316-9366 or email them at athens@ldiline.com.
Guys, are you reading the online comments?
Gotta read some of these comments.
I'm loving your guys' comments.
You're reading your own comments?
Yeah, they're really good. I worked hard on them.
The secret is don't read the comment cards.
Let's read the YouTube comments. That's right. You can leave us comments every week and we'll read them. Velma the ID, or Velma the ID, says, this hasn't shown up in my YouTube feed in forever. I'm not sure why the algorithm picked this one, but it was a great show. Thank you. Marla Dilts says, "You got me," and I'm thinking that's alluding to the fact that we had Joe Rogan in the artwork. Is that what you think?
Actually, I thought that at first too, but she meant she's a subscriber, so she subscribed.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Maria, you rule. Or is it Marla? No, it's Maria. Thank you, Maria. Ozymandias says, "As a fan of democracy and soccer, Thursday was a dark day in Atlanta. The Boys is a lot of nothing this season. Pointless 5th episode included. Let's hope House of the Dragon will straighten up and fly right." Here.
I second that.
Flashfook says, "Sorry about not commenting on last week's show, but I'm going to drop a few thoughts to make up for that. First thing," said in a Biden voice, "I looked at the first few minutes of the new norm. While I'm glad that animators got some work, this is such a piece of garbage. Not funny, not edgy, just awful." He's exactly right. Second thing, The Boys is having a lot of fun throwing all sorts of weirdness into the episodes. Who doesn't like killer chickens? Exactly. That was fucking great. Third, in the book I gave Tim, one of the funniest tidbits about Andy Kaufman wrestling women was that he wore a jockstrap under his underwear and baggy sweatpants and big baggy shorts so he could hide his erections.
His views.
Or.
And snooze.
Last week was The Bear, which I watched all of. Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F, which we talked about, and those two A&E biographies. They're doing a good job with those.
I can't find a place to watch them. I don't know why they're not on Hulu.
Yeah, I don't know who owns A&E. They probably have their own app.
They may be running them all and then dropping all of them once they've aired.
Yeah, but you got to pay extra to get Hulu or to get A&E and in history and Hulu. It's like, come on, man, get your shit bundled up. I want to watch these things, but I'm not paying extra.
All right, this week, Space Cadet. It's a movie with Emma Roberts playing a Florida party girl who gets sent into space. Looks kind of funny. I just saw a preview for it this morning.
Yeah, it'll probably be a snooze for me.
I thought it looked pretty funny. I'm going to give it a chance, probably. Psychops starts on the 7th on Adult Swim.
Now, what's this about?
It's a new cartoon show. It looks like they're doing some pretty cool animation with it.
Is it funny, you think?
Yeah, it looks funny.
I'll check that out. It's Adult Swim. I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sam Morrill's has a special, drops on Prime on the 9th. It's called You've Changed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'll check that out.
It's the views for me, for sure.
On Prime? Comedy on Prime?
They have stand-up specials on there.
I know. Sam Morrill, is he funny?
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah.
All right, I don't know him. I got to get into him. I mean, I've seen him on podcasts.
Yeah,
I just don't know who he is.
He does a great Rodney Dangerfield impression, too.
Oh, then I'm definitely in.
Yeah, he won the whenever I used to write for that E-magazine or whatever, I would cover the Laughing Skull Festival in 2011 or 2012 or some crap. He won it that year.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, staff picks time. My staff pick this week is the podcast Not Today, Pal, which you can listen to or watch on YouTube with Jamie Lynn Sigler and Robert Eiler. It is part of the Your Mama's House group of podcasts. And the guest last week was David Chase. So if you're a Sopranos dork, it's a good episode.
Let's see. Mine is music this week. They re-released Red Cross's album Show World.
Nice.
Which is an awesome album that was not available for 20 years.
Really?
And they finally came together and got that back out, and they're touring again. So they're going to be in August, they're going to be at the Eastern. So I'll probably definitely go check those guys out.
I like them. They had they were in that movie Spirit of 76. It came out in 1990. And let's see, it was directed by Lucas Reiner. You had David Cassidy, Olivia Diabo, Leif Garrett. Yeah, their names are, let's see, 3 time travelers, Adam 11, David Cassidy, Channel 6, Olivia Diabo, and Heinz 57, Jeff Hoyle. And the Red Cross guys are in it, and they did the movie.
Mine's Where Everybody Knows Your Name podcast.
There's
been 3 or 4 of them out now. This is the Ted Danson, Woody Harrelson podcast. It's fun. Listen, they had Conan on last week. They got Jane Fonda on this week.
How long is it? An hour?
Yeah, like an hour.
So they're not going to do episodes?
They haven't started doing episodes yet, but why do they name it Where Everybody Knows Your Name if they're not going to talk about Cheers?
Yeah.
Wait, they haven't talked about Cheers?
Not really.
Maybe they're working up to it.
Yeah.
My step pick was suggested to me by one of our listeners, actually, Jeff Lyle. He sent me a message the other day and told me that the new podcast Drowning Creek had just dropped. And it's about, if you guys remember back in 2007, that kid Justin Gaines that came out of Wild Bill's and then he just disappeared.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that was really, that the kid was from Snellville. He went to Brookwood High School, which is right down the street from me. And it was like a really big deal. Well, this podcaster, he dives deep. He's got the Walton County Sheriff on there and the FBI agent that was assigned to it. New information. And he's there. Somebody actually confessed to what happened, that they killed him. But they've never been able to find a body. They said they dumped the body like off a 316 down a well. They checked every part of that thing. But so far, there's 3 episodes out. It's really interesting. So I highly recommend it. It's called Drowning Creek. And thanks again, Jeff Lyle. I appreciate it, man.
Awesome. Jeff Lyle's a good guy. Thank you, Jeff.
He's awesome.
All right, let's do some plugs. You can listen to Trambles, which is the audio-only podcast I do every Monday in the Radio Labyrinth podcast feed. You can find that on any of your podcatchers this week or last week. I talked about my encounters with Monkey that lived next door to me, and also a little bit about the 4th of July and stuff throughout the years. And I also did a stand-up routine as Seinfeld that I wrote, which I don't care if you like it or not. I put it on there. I did my best. My radio show, The Podcast, every week on WSB Radio in Atlanta. You can also listen to it on their app or as a podcast later on. This weekend live, it'll be Scott A. Young, the replay with my cousin, who's written a trilogy of series, the Manifold series. The first one is called Selfies. I'm almost done reading it. And now I got to go back in and put the characters in, but I enjoy it. It's a good story. A lot of twists and turns, as they say. My guest next week will be Kevin Kinney, talking about some upcoming performances with Driving and Crying. Of course, he's the lead singer and one of the founder. And he's also the band is going to be open up for the 10,000 Maniacs this summer. I wish I could go, but I won't be able to go. If you would like a cameo where I do a bunch of different voices and whatnot, or just as myself, they're very affordable. And you can go to cameo.com and look for me. I believe it is Tim Andrews ATL, but Dustin put the link here for you. I do want to thank our Patreon producers. We have producers. The producers of the Radio Labyrinth show, they all come in at the $25 level, and our brand new one, John Allen, is still due a t-shirt and a drawing, so John, get in contact with us. But that's what you get if you become a producer. You get a credit every week for producing this show, and you're the reason why we continue to do it. And you get a drawing from me. It could be a sketch. It could be a printout of one I've already done. You get a t-shirt from our t-shirt store. And so thank you to our producers, John Allen, Tim Slayton, Brian and Chelsea Smith, Jeff Peterson, Jim Fortner, Terry Fuller, Chris Chandler, Roby Neely, Mike D, and Matt Carter. So thank you guys. You guys kick ass. And all of you Patreon members kick ass. When you become a member of our Patreon family at any level, you get access to our Patreon only show. And we are doing things that bring us joy. 2 to 3 minute videos that you can go back to and watch, even if you've seen them 1,000 times. And I guess they don't necessarily have to be on YouTube, but it would help. It's a lot easier for us. But this week, one of our Patreon members, in fact, sponsor Brett from LDI, we did his video. So you can check that out. That's also fun. Please remember to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Dustin kicks ass every single week. How far are we now from 1,000?
We've got less than 10. So yeah, like 6 or 7 more people. Come on. Free t-shirt for the 1,000.
We're going to give a t-shirt to the 1,000th,
Yeah.
Yes, the 1,000th follower or subscriber to our YouTube channel gets a t-shirt. So even if you're like, I like to go for walks and you can't look at your phone while you're walking because you're not Gen Z, then you need to just go there. You don't need to, but it'd be nice. Just go to YouTube, create an account. You don't have one. If you have Google, then if you have a Gmail account, it's easy. Just subscribe, and then you can go back to just, listening. But, subscribing and liking, that works for the algorithm that pushes us out there into more people's eyes and ears. And it's very, very helpful because once we get 1,000, then more people will come in, and hopefully that'll be the case. Okay, hope you liked this week's show and you had a good 4th of July. And on that note, okay, goodbye, keep it canon and all that.
Keep it canon.
Keep it
canon.
Well, they say all good things come to an end.
What's that got to do with this show?